New York correctional officers are in trouble after a viral video shows them beating a man to death. We're going to talk about it next on It's Culture. Let's get it. Welcome back to It's Culture Podcast. My name is Mark, and Happy New Year to everybody. Hopefully you had a good time last night. But thank you all for tuning in and supporting the channel. We did a lot of growth over the last year, and I appreciate all the support. Today, I was perusing around online, and I saw this video, and it really pissed me off because here we are dealing with same BS going on with correction officers and police not respecting those that are in custody. What I'm talking about is the Robert Brooks story out of New York. It just so happened back on December 9th, Robert Brooks was incarcerated in a correction facility in upstate New York, and is seen on video being beaten to death by the correction officers. Now, I have to warn you, before I show the news clip, there is some violence in it, so if you don't want to see it, please, just kind of turn away. It doesn't really show them too much, but I just wanted to kind of warn people because I know that stuff triggers some people. But we're going to watch the video and listen to what the news is saying, and then we're going to talk about it on another side. Fair use, fair use, fair use.
Protesters took to the streets of Manhattan today, calling for the firing of the officers involved in the beating of upstate New York inmate Robert Brooks.
CBS News New York just learned Governor Hochul visited the Marcy Correctional Facility where Brooks was killed and announced some immediate changes. Alan Devlin has the video of the attack, and we want to warn you, it is disturbing to watch.
When we allow that to happen, we say that we're okay with the denigration and the devaluation of black life.
Calls for justice today in the shadow of Governor Kathy Hochul's office. Protesters march, signs in hand, demanding action against the officer seen on body camera footage beating upstate New York inmate Robert Brooks.
Seeing a black brother like that, being beat like that, being lynched, that is disturbing.
The video released Friday of the brutal December 9th beating from inside the Marcy Correctional Facility shows officers repeatedly punching, kicking, and dragging handcuffed 43-year-old inmate Robert Brooks. Brooks died a day later.
Okay, so y'all see that he was getting punched. He was handcuffed, consistently getting punched to the point where the man died. Now, what led up to it, don't know. But what we saw is egregious, and I think we all can agree that he should not have been getting beat while he was in custody.
The justification is not there. You can't hit a suspect that's handcuffed.
Former NYPD investigator Felipe Rodriguez says the video is shocking and there's no excuse for the officer's actions.
It's going to be very difficult for them to justify use of force. Anytime you use, every strike has to be justified. Any discharge of a firearm has to be justified. Otherwise, you know what? You did it incorrectly.
And that's an NYPD officer, and I agree. If you're going to use force, you better be justified.
A series of 8 videos released to the public playing a pivotal part in the launching of an investigation by the New York Attorney General's office and calls from Governor Hochul for all 13 officers and a nurse connected to the beating to be terminated.
We will use every possible tool available to us to investigate this death thoroughly and swiftly.
Today, Governor Hochul visited Marcy Correctional Facility seeking answers in Brooks' death and immediately implemented new changes, including naming a new superintendent and expediting $400 million towards new cameras facility-wide. Today, as I stood in the room where Robert Brooks was killed, I was once again heartbroken by this unnecessary loss of life and further sickened to think of the actions of depraved individuals with no regard for human life, said Governor Hochul in a statement. CBS News New York has learned 3 of the 13 guards implicated in the savage beating of Robert Brooks have been accused in lawsuits of earlier attacks in New York prisons. All 14 Marcy staff members have currently been suspended without pay pending the investigation. There have been no formal charges brought against the officers yet. In Manhattan, Alan Devlin, CBS News, New York.
Okay. 14 officers and a nurse. 3 officers accused of other acts against people when they were in correction facilities. This man died in custody. He died in custody at the hands of police officers. Now, this happened almost a month ago. They've been suspended pending an investigation. But what else is there to investigate? This is why I have take issue with accountability when it comes to police, because there is none. And I also don't like the narrative of the race being put into that, because they would have did that to anybody. These correction officers did not respect life. And here we are talking about whether or not they're going to be getting prosecuted for this. They should be prosecuted. That's murder. What we saw on camera is murder. The man is handcuffed. He's not going anywhere. He is restrained. There is no use to continuously strike someone to the point where they die, and there's no accountability for it. Now, the governor, she decided she want to come out. She got a new superintendent. So I guess she must have fired the previous superintendent. Dedicated $400 million to new cameras to be installed in this prison. It shouldn't take all that. It shouldn't take someone getting killed before you decide to fork over money so that way you can have better equipment in these facilities, because we can go across the country and there are facilities that are inhumane. Just down in Georgia a couple of weeks ago, they had a situation where they ruled that the prison's conditions are inhumane. Why are we treating people like they're inhumane if they're in custody? You already got them. Now, if you had assaulted police officers and they had to use force for like that, then that's fine. But this man is handcuffed on a like look like a gurney and just constantly getting punched and punched and punched and punched and punched. I'm pretty sure he had brain damage from all the blunt force trauma that was given to his head, because they were just constantly beating on him. These police officers need to be charged with murder. Kathy Hochul is the governor. She's dropping the ball. She's kind of letting Letitia James run with it, kind of, letting the attorney general, but it shouldn't take this long. It should not take a month after seeing this, because this was you and I, we would already be behind bars. We saw it on camera. It shouldn't take people having to go to the street to protest. It shouldn't take all that. Swift action. They should have been terminated. As soon as the video came out, they should have all been fired right off the rip, and they should all be facing charges. They should not be able to hide behind a union and their union reps for this. Kathy Hochul should have fired them. She's the governor. She has the power. The Department of Corrections is one of her departments. That's in her purview. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do y'all think these officers need to be fired? Do you think they need to be prosecuted? Let me know what y'all think. And then I'll keep you all informed and abreast of what goes on in this case. So until next time, Coach Nation, let's keep it coaching.